still just feel, I don't know, it's like literally, you guys, I have like a physical reaction to like teaching the next child how to read. I wish I was looking forward to it more. Hi homeschool friends, welcome back to Crazy Brave Homeschool. My name is Ashley and I'm a homeschool mom to a second grader and a TKer. So I have mentioned in recent videos, some reveals here and there about what we're going to be doing for my kindergartner, but I realized that I've been so focused on my rising third grader. I've been so focused on her for the last few years that I don't know, I feel like I needed to make a video that was entirely devoted to my son in celebration for his upcoming year into kindergarten. It really is so exciting. For homeschoolers that have more than one child, maybe you feel the same way, but with that first kid, they're just a guinea pig. It's your first time, and with the second, you get to make up in some of the areas that you feel you lacked a bit with, I don't know, teaching style or curriculum choices or scheduling. And so there are some things that I know I would do differently with my son than I did with my daughter. And so I'm just looking forward to, I don't know, it's like, sure, maybe feeling a little bit of redemption, but at the same time, they're both two totally different kids. And I don't necessarily know if what I have planned here is going to work for him. I will say, though, that my son has been a part of our homeschool for the last 2 years. For my daughter's first year, we unschooled kindergarten, but for first grade, that was our first formal year of homeschooling. He was in pre-K and he was just totally in it. He was doing all of our science with us. He was learning the songs about the months of the year and the days of the week, and he was, watching my daughter learn her letters and her numbers. And so he was really in it. So I decided, even though I unschooled my daughter for kindergarten and we took a very slow, gentle approach to formal homeschooling with her, and I honestly feel in some ways that was right for her. In other ways, maybe not. I'm not going to get into my daughter. This is about my son. But anyway, when we joined the charter school, we decided to put my son in for TK this last year. Because of the funding, it really is like so helpful. But also because he was just ready. He unlike my daughter, was really ready for formal instruction because he is very comfortable with math and with just hands-on activities. So for his TK year, we kept it pretty simple. I definitely just focused on math and introduction to letters. And then I did introduce him to a little handwriting program with The Good and the Beautiful. He for sure, though, sat in on a lot of our other subjects with my daughter. He sat in for our morning basket time, for science, for some of our history activities. He learned a lot of geography this year. And so I'm really not too concerned with these two big stacks that I'm looking at for curriculum choices. One stack that I'm going to go through first is for his core subjects for kindergarten. The other stack is more enrichment and plans for morning basket, things that a lot of backup stuff in case other things don't work out. So without further ado, let's roll into these curriculum picks. I'm actually going to save language arts and math for the end of the core subjects because they're on the bottom. All right, so what I'm looking at right now is geography. My plan for geography for him is to try, my hope anyway, is to read these books with both my kindergartner and third grader and really give them both a nice solid foundation for geography. These are recommended from Ambleside Online, and I really like the way that these read. They are very short lessons. They are very discussion based. There's no workbook work with these. It's really just about like literally learning the surroundings around you with like left and right and forward and backward. And then, you know, kind of paying attention to the landscape around you, learning about what differentiates a stream from a brook, from a river, things like that. There's also a lot of poetry in here that's very like environmental in terms of talking about landscape. And so that's introducing a lot of great terms. I just think that these two books are really great for building foundation, and that's my aim with my son for sure. Another geography resource that has gone so well this last second half of the school year are the laminated US maps that I just made and that we have put in our morning basket. So every day that we do school, about 4 days a week, I have little flashcards printed out from Etsy that I accompany with this, and I just quiz them. I'll introduce them to a new state probably twice a week, and maybe sometimes we'll have little ways to remember it, like the Idaho looks kind of like an I, you know, things like that. Sometimes they come up with their own little ways to memorize, but just some good old-fashioned memorization has worked really well for this. We tried the Beautiful Feet books, US Geography, and it just didn't work with either one of them. So I figured my goal for geography with my daughter this year was to learn her US states, and he loves it. My son is actually a little bit better than she is. He just loves it so much. So they've currently memorized like 21 states. So we're almost halfway there, and we'll just continue this next year. One other resource for geography I have that we haven't really used yet is this Evan Moore Beginning Geography. We're just not a huge workbook family, but I figure if the Charlotte Mason and the CC Long books don't really work out, I will just put this in our morning basket, and every day we will do a page or two out of this, just again to try to solidify some of those foundations with learning geography. Okay, so for science is kind of a hodgepodge this year. If you've been following my channel, we do science as a family subject, and I have a lot of different plans for science next year. I mean, this is mostly geared around my third grader, but again, my son has been so good about sitting in on all of our science, and so I don't anticipate any of that changing. We decided to learn a bit about botany next year. I've gone down a rabbit hole with like figuring out which program we want to use. There was one from Under the Home that I really liked, but it was very lab book heavy, and my kids are not big writers yet. And I honestly feel a little wooed by the Good and the Beautiful science units. I love that they are just like science chunks. You can choose whatever you want to learn about that year. It's not going to take you through the whole year, so you don't get tired of it. There's other things I love about their science that, so we've tried one unit and I'll tell you about it. But I love that this is very open and go. I love that it's scripted. And I love that the experiments are on video. So I can set up the kids with what they need, and a video discussion can walk us through it, because sometimes when I try to do our science, it just doesn't, our experiments, it might not work out or really go the way it's supposed to. So anyway, I love that there's videos with this. I know that this is a 3 through 8 science, but so we did the safety unit with the Good and the Beautiful, and that's a 3 through 8 grade level, and my son rocked it. He loved it. I'm not at all nervous about the grade level with this for him. He followed along our entire time that we used biology for the grammar stage from elemental science. He probably learned just as much as my daughter did with those units. So anyway, I'm not worried about it. I did get him the grades K through 2 botany little activity book, but honestly, I mean, some of these pages look okay, but I got them the one for the safety unit, and the kids were really bored with this. They're not super into like coloring books, but there are a couple of activities in here, which they might be into. I may just print off pages from my daughter's student workbook that I got to pair with this unit, and then he can do those pages too if he wants to. Okay, another science plan I have that I think I can just show you a picture of. For 6 weeks next year, we're going to be doing a wildlife rescue course. I don't know where I found this, going down some rabbit hole into wildlife, life sciences or something. But my daughter is very much wants to be an animal rescuer when she is older. And this is a really cute course geared towards elementary students that is just, you follow the online modules. It's $60. It's 6 weeks. And it's a woman teaching you all about how to care for injured, like, backyard animals that you may find. And so I just think my kids are going to love that. I don't have to do anything for it. It's all online. That's the first time we've really done anything like that. So that's for 6 weeks. The botany guide, I believe, is maybe 14 weeks. And then let me show you my other plan for science. So this isn't technically for science, but I'll show you here. I love the book seeds issues from Blossom and Root. And so I got her grade 3 botany book seed bundle. And my son has done book seeds with us. He did them in pre-K for my daughter's first grade year. We just love the book seeds. There are so many fun activities in there. You can definitely use them for a pre-K, TK kindergartner. And so I have 5 or 6 book seed units that we're going to do for the last 12 weeks of the school year next year. I just pulled this out just to kind of show you what the book seeds looks like. This is an enrichment plan that I have for my kids over winter break. We are going to do The Mitten. The Mitten is my son's favorite book. And so I think he is going to love bringing this book to life with Blossom and Root's book seeds. I really encourage you to check out these issues. They're so fun. There are a lot of STEM activities, and they're always based around some great book. And yeah, anyway, I'm excited to do this with him. Okay, cruising right along here. It's gonna be a big video, you guys. It just is what it is. All right, so for history, I'm not too concerned with him following along for history with us this year. I hope that he will. I think that he will. But as long as we are covering the geography that I showed you, and I think a little bit of this other enrichment, which I consider social studies, then I'm totally cool with that for kindergarten. But I did choose our history with him in mind. So we are going to be doing level 1 from Build Your Library, all about the ancient world. My daughter will be in 3rd grade, but I pulled back on the levels for her. Plus I don't want to miss the ancient world. I want to do ancient world, medieval times, early modern. I'd like to follow that cycle. And this is the age ranges are for 6 to 8. I know that that's really negotiable too. A lot of families have used this for older kids, and I think it works out fine, especially if you want to add different books to the book list. But anyway, my son will be 6 in November, and my daughter will be 8 for her entire 3rd grade year. So I'm not worried about the age range on this, really. The thing I am, I guess, a little worried about is just that my son doesn't love read alouds. He for sure has not gotten into any read aloud chapter books yet. He enjoys a good picture book, and it's getting a little bit better. But this is going to be a big literature year for us, and I already have a lot of literature planned for his language arts. So I hope that he'll sit along for the readings. I know he will sit along for the activities. So I think that might just have to be good enough. We'll see. Okay, so let's jump into language arts and math. Oh man. Okay. So here, this one's easy. All right, so I'm bringing him into level 1 handwriting from The Good and the Beautiful. He completed their pre-writing and kindergarten. He's almost done with the kindergarten book. He says, I hate handwriting, but he also filled 2 books this year, and he is really good at handwriting. And I think that's why he doesn't like it, because he thinks that he already knows how to do it. And I just want to make sure he's doing it well. He likes the activities that are paired with these 2, unlike my daughter. My daughter skips them like every single time. So these pages are bigger, but I think that he will be able to handle this just fine. So that's his handwriting plan. All right, his major, my kitty's here. You guys want to see Ellie? She's my favorite. His main language arts plan this year I'm excited about this choice, and I've probably already shared it on a previous video, but we are doing Blossom and Root, A Gentle Beginning. So this is their kindergarten level for language arts. I haven't bound these yet. I need to do that still. This is the parent guide, and this is the student workbook. So we're not going to be doing everything out of this. I am going to be skipping their like letter play, word play, because we have already gone through letter recognition with him during his TK year. We used All About Reading pre-reading, and that went really well. So I do think that this will be a little redundant on top of what else I have planned for him. We are going to be trying out the book list. I am a little surprised, you know, that the book list includes some short chapter book read alouds for kindergarten, only because we used level 1 with my daughter and it was all picture books, and that went really well. I think chapter books, even in first grade, would have been tough. But there's just a few. For instance, My Father's Dragon is week 6 through week 10. So that's already pretty early in the year to be bringing in a little chapter book. And then we have Winnie the Pooh for 5 weeks. I don't know how my son will like Winnie the Pooh. You know, the language is older. I do sometimes worry about some of the older English. There's a lot of Frog and Toad, which I have not introduced him to yet. I'm hoping he'll like that. And then there's a lot of great picture books. Fry Bread, The American Quilt, The Velveteen Rabbit. Let's see, A Sick Day for Amos McGee, Island Born, Stone Soup, We Are Grateful. So a lot of really great book choices, I think. And I'm really hoping to start sparking a little bit more love for books with him with this book list. The other thing I love about Blossom and Root is that they are very hands-on and creative. And for these early years, I just love bringing books to life. I think that Blossom and Root does a wonderful job with their ideas for projects. Like the story basket was something that worked really, really well for my daughter last year in terms of introducing narration to her. We would set up these, you know, peg dolls and decorate them, and then use other materials to build the scene of the book. And that was really fun. And I'm excited that I get to introduce that even earlier with my son in kindergarten and go through the first few levels of Blossom and Root with him, assuming that it goes well. There is an introduction to narration in kindergarten in the student notebook, so he won't be doing any writing. Sometimes he does a little bit of copy work, so I might have him copy work maybe a couple words for each story, but there's always like, like a little like journal prompt kind of activity. Like, you know, like this is a journal entry, which is basically drawing the ingredients from stone soup in the pot. That's very sweet. This is another journal entry. Make a picture of something you are grateful for, or write down your words. This is a cute journal prompt from My Father's Dragon. What is your favorite hiding place? Make a picture of it below. My son really likes to draw, and he's very good at it. He will enjoy the journal and narration prompts with Blossom and Root. And that's pretty much it, again, because we're not going to be using like all of the letter play that's in this. If I find he needs review, I'm happy to use it since we have it. Okay, so that's really more for like the literature side of language arts and like the narration, right? For phonics, I think that I have made a decision. I've been really up in the air, and I think that's what's kept me from making this video, is that I haven't really known where we were going to go after All About Reading pre-reading. That program went really well. He really liked certain parts of it, like the zebra, little puppet and stuff. He learned all of his letters. He learned, I'd say I'd say by the end of that program, he probably knew about 85-90% of his letter sounds. And then we've had to continue practicing. And I'd say now he's pretty much 99% there. Not with all the sounds, just with like the most common sounds. And so my plan was to move him into foundational phonics this year. So we have done that, but I have taken this very slowly. This program gets into blending very early on. I didn't totally realize that when I got it. I knew that he was going to need like another program to just continue helping him with letter sounds. And I wasn't really ready for him to start reading his TK year, given we are only 6 weeks away from the end of the school year. So it's okay. You know, I think he's ready to start exploring it a little bit. I have videos that I will link on foundational phonics, and I'm not going to do any kind of flip through with this for you. But a couple days ago, just on page 35, and this is like a 400-page book. On page 35, on chapter 3, is when he blended his first word. So I was like nervous to do this lesson with him. I think I'm slightly traumatized about teaching my daughter how to read because it has been a journey and it's been a challenge. So I actually had my husband do this lesson with him. He was really excited to do it, my husband. And it was really sweet at the end. My son came into the room and said, "Mommy, I read." So cute. So he learned to read the word man and sound it out. But anyway, I'm glad that we started early because now I can just like really take my time with him and hopefully have a lot more patience for the whole experience. So he just did this, and then we reviewed, you know, how to spell it with little letter cards here. And yeah, he did pretty good. So anyway, what I'm getting at is I'm in no hurry to like move forward with this program this year. Again, we're done in 6 weeks. I'm just doing like a few pages a week. I actually went back to our Delightful Reading Level 1 with him because there are so many fun games for solidifying letter sounds and just letter recognition, like bingo and go fish and musical letters, memory. I love Delightful Reading Level 1 for that. And he really likes playing games. So I've just been doing some of that and some of this. So anyway, my plan is that this is a big program. We will bring this back in for kindergarten in August once we get through the next 6 weeks of school. And this will be our main curriculum for that, assuming that it keeps working. I have also decided to bring in, and I can't really believe I'm announcing this because I have been very wishy-washy with phonics, especially for my daughter, and with this program I'm going to announce. Based on the fact that I have, I think, struggled to build a strong foundation for my daughter because I was very much interested in using a Charlotte Mason approach to teaching reading. I do think I lacked in building that strong foundation for her because reading came harder for her. I'm going to bring in All About Reading. And I've already used it with my son, so I don't know why I'm like embarrassed or whatever. It's just a different approach to teaching reading than the Charlotte Mason method. And so whatever, I think I need a little bit more hand holding. I really do. And so I'm going to bring that in for my son. But again, I don't think he's necessarily ready to start that at the beginning of kindergarten. I would like to see if we can get further along in this because this is it's not a ton of blending. It's actually so much letter review throughout the entire program. And so I just want to make sure that we are doing a ton of this before starting him on level 1. But I do foresee getting to level 1 during his kindergarten year. Okay, and then just a couple other, before I hit math, a couple other language arts resources. He really likes Explode the Code. He did A, B, and C. He's about halfway through C this year. So he went right through it. That really helped with him learning his letters as well. So I got level 1 for him. I'm sure he's gonna like this. We'll just bring this in a couple times a week, or maybe just once a week. I did originally get Alpha Phonics for him. Because I really like these simple approaches to learning reading that aren't so built on like so much activity and all these pieces. But this isn't holding my hand enough, and it's not really teaching the rules. Okay, so like I was looking at the All About Reading levels the other day, and yeah, I think that there are definitely gaps that my daughter has through some of the resources that we chose for her reading. Her reading's coming along. She's doing well. But there are definitely gaps, and there are definitely rules that she did not learn, which would have been helpful for spelling. And yeah, I think that we just need to potentially start departing a little bit from some of these classical methods and use something that's a little more systematic. Okay, so I tried notebooking with my son this year. I got the School Nest Kindergarten notebook. He just did so great with this. This is probably my favorite thing from his TK year. It is full of so much just wonderful work that he did, and it's just a ton of different stuff. So I included pretty much every subject in here, science activities, drawings, mostly what I used this for was his narrations. So every week I would choose a picture book that I think that, thought that he would really like. And I just did it once a week because, again, he's just not super into books, And so I would bring in the book, and then after we read it, he would draw a picture and then tell me like one sentence of his favorite part, or a little bit about what the story was about. This went really, really well. We consistently did this every week, and I think that this was a really good introduction to narration so that it won't be any kind of a surprise with Blossom and Root. And then, like from our history activities, I would put in here some of the stuff that he sat in on. Yeah, I love this book. And I put in some of our social studies work. So this is only half full. So this will be perfect for his kindergarten year next year too. Okay, let's jump into math, you guys. So, okay, I'm gonna try to be quick with math. It's kind of chatty. Sort of interesting in math. At the end of his pre-K year, I was noticing that he is just very good with numbers. And so I got him in the summer, last summer, which would have been before his TK year. I got him the Math with Confidence first grade workbook after just looking at the kindergarten one and realizing that that might be a little below him. We did, for several months, we did a bunch of worksheets out of that. I didn't do the program, but not to say I wouldn't do it. It looks really good, but I just wanted to see if he could do some first grade work. So he did a bunch of those worksheets, and that went really well. And then what happened? So I used a Waldorf program, The Beauty of Play, Quality of Numbers, and that was just like a bunch of fun activities with notebooking for math, but it just didn't hold my hand enough, and I didn't really know how to make the program work well enough for him. So we stopped using that. Ultimately, my goal was to use Right Start because this is what we use with my daughter. I was nervous to start him on a kindergarten first grade level math, even though, yes, I used the workbook from Math with Confidence, but I don't know, they were just simple worksheets. It wasn't like formal lessons, and he likes worksheets. So I did try to bring this in sort of in the beginning of the year. We got through the first 20 or 30 lessons, maybe the first 20 lessons. I can't really remember. And it started to get a little too formal for him. He had just turned, let's see, he had just turned 5 when we started using this. And anyway, so I just thought, okay, I'm just going to set it aside for a little bit longer. And I decided ultimately to get The Good and the Beautiful kindergarten for him because it was just more age appropriate in terms of its graphics and colors and activities. It didn't not go well. He was actually good with it. It was too simple for him, so he was a little frustrated. But I ultimately decided to set it down because I just thought it was too much workbook work for a 5-year-old. I prefer math to be way more hands-on, way more manipulative based, more of the Montessori approach. And The Good and the Beautiful was just one fat workbook, expecting him to do too much writing, in my opinion. I also thought it was a lot of fluff and that it was all over the place with its math concepts. So I decided at lesson 33 to set that down and go back to Right Start and see how he did. We did another maybe 10 lessons out of this, and then we like hit a wall again with the part whole circle set, which he hated in The Good and the Beautiful too. He's just having a hard time wrapping his head around it. I think what the problem is with my son, and which might pose an issue with this program for him, is that very early on, he started to recognize the symbols for numbers and not just like what the number 4 is in terms of, say, four balls. He was learning the written number for 4 and for all numbers early on. And so, and like, I want him to have number sense, you know, I want him to be able to see 4 tiles and know that it's 4. And I think obviously at this point he would. But I don't know, I guess what I'm getting at is that he just started to learn math in a different way than I was teaching my daughter. I really like this program. I really want this to work for us. But he may need something that's a little bit more straightforward, because he does understand the concept, but he understands it better, I think, possibly in written form versus like manipulative. He has not enjoyed using manipulatives. What he has enjoyed, okay, so after about 10 more lessons, I set this down. I do intend to bring it back. We are around lesson 34 in this. So what he has really enjoyed, though, are the math games. Here. So this book comes with Right Start. If you buy the whole bundle, you can also buy this separately and get the manipulatives you need for the card games. He's really liked this, and it's taught him so much more, like number recognition and clocks, money. So we have just been using this for the last like month, and my plan is just keep using this summer, and we'll see where he lands at the end of summer when I bring this back in. Ultimately, my plan, I think, is if Right Start ends up not working for him, I would get Math with Confidence, probably grade 1. And I think that would work well for him because it's very game-based, but and so it's hands-on, but it also has the workbook that he likes, and it's just a little bit more like age appropriate in terms of, you know, being young. Right Start doesn't have any kind of like graphics or anything fun about it other than the manipulatives, which I think are pretty fun. So anyway, the aesthetic to Right Start is much more mature than, say, The Good and the Beautiful and Math with Confidence. I kind of can't believe we haven't figured out math yet because he's good at math. It's kind of a funny problem to have, but I feel like I'm at the same place at the end of this year as I was at the end of last year. Okay, you guys, that took a really long time to get through his core subjects, so I think I am going to split this video and make another one about the enrichment picks that I have for him. So I'm literally going to be right back. I'm probably going to post both videos today. So if you want to continue watching what I have planned for him for enrichment, just stay tuned, and that video will be right behind this one. Okay, thanks for watching, you guys. Any questions or links, please leave it in the comments, and I'll see you soon.